Sometimes when you want to use illustration in your work, it's really hard because if you're not an illustrator yourself, it's really hard to replicate the same style using different illustrations because illustrations are oftentimes created differently. So you can really see that the designer has used different illustrations from different styles, from different people, and it can really translate into non-professional design. And that's why it's really hard to create illustrations when you're not an illustrator. The way around it is to pay a professional illustrator who will create those illustrations for you if you don't know how to illustrate yourself. But if you're just starting out, it's really difficult to manage funding for that. And when you're working with clients, oftentimes they don't have the budget for illustrations, so you often end up with using either images or just icons. Luckily for us, XD has this awesome plugin. So when you click right here to the plugins panel, it's called UnDraw. And when I click on it, you can see that it's created by this person, Katerina Limpizzoni. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And you can see that they are attribution-free illustration for client and personal design projects in any color you prefer. What that means is you can enter client's colors right here and it will speed up the illustration using those colors. And you can also switch to nightly illustrations, so it will basically replace these colors from white to basically almost dark. So how can you use those illustrations? You can simply click right here where it says search, and for example if I type in car and press enter, you can see that all of the different illustrations that have car in it will show up. And for example, if I want to use some of these illustrations, let's say this one, all you have to do is simply click on it and it will be ready to paste in. Now these illustrations are created in SVG, which means they will not lose quality when you work with them, and all you have to do is simply click done because it's already copied to the clipboard and you can paste it anywhere here on your design. So when I click right here and hit Ctrl or Command V, it's going to paste in that illustration inside of my artboard. And when I click on my artboard and jump to the layers, you can see that it is here. Now one downside of these illustrations is if I open them up, you can see that all of these are different pots and you don't have any of these layers named, which makes it really difficult to work with sometimes, but you have to do what you have to do because these illustrations are created using the same style, so they make your work look really professional. So what you have to do if you want to remove this guy from the front, for example, or you just want to remove everything and have just the car in focus, all you have to do is you can ungroup it. So right click right here, hit ungroup, and it will ungroup all of these different layers for you. And you can simply jump inside, click on one of these layers, and you can hold shift and simply select multiple layers. And when you selected however many layers you want, you can simply click delete on your keyboard, and as you can see, it's going to delete majority of these layers. Now you have to do this if you want to remove parts of the illustrations, and let's say that we just want to remove this guy from the illustration, and you have to do this a few times. So you can hit delete on your keyboard. As you can see, we are making a really good progress, but because they are created so delicately and they include all of these different shadows, sometimes you have to go through a couple of times in order to delete some of them. Now with these elements which are located outside of the illustration, so for example all of these flowers at the bottom, you can simply select them like so using your left mouse click, and you can simply hit delete and remove them from the scene. But if you select too much, as you can see in this case, I just want to select the rock up to here, but when I move slightly up, it's going to select the road as well. So you have to do these two techniques. So you have to use your shift key for majority of them, and if they are located outside of the grouping, you can simply select them using your left mouse click. Now for example, if I say okay, I'm done, maybe I just want to remove these leaves from the background, and I can simply select them like so. And maybe I just want to remove all of them and have this just one line, and maybe I even want to remove this background. And here we go, we are left now with the car illustration. I would recommend that you can click on this layer. For example, you can see it's this layer right here, double click on the layer name and simply type in road, because that's our road, and that way we can know that all of these other layers are layers for the car. So you can hit Ctrl G to group all of them and simply call this group car. And now you can know that this is a car. Now, if you want to change any of the colors of these illustrations and you want to make them your own, you can do that, because as I said, this is an SVG. If I zoom in a lot closer like so, you can see that it doesn't lose any quality. So let's say that I just want to change some of these colors for the wheels, so I can hold my Control key and click directly inside, and if I hide my layer you can see what it is. And maybe I just want to change it to darker colors, so for example this one, and I can do the same for this other wheel, and I can simply hover right here and click, or I can simply go all the way down and you can see that it changed color. Now you can jump inside and change all of them, but you get the idea of how it's done. And it's really simple. As you can see, all you have to do is simply select all of these layers. You can name them, especially if the illustration is lighter with some of the elements inside. So if I jump inside UnDraw once again, you can click right here and type in phone, for example. And you can see that we have some really nice simple phone illustrations, and we also have some more advanced ones. So just imagine we use this one, and I can click somewhere outside. Let me just move my car to the left and hit Ctrl V to paste it in. As you can see, all we have right here is the phone and this background, so it's a lot easier to work with. But in some cases, like in the case of this car, we have a lot more layers to play around with, and we can edit them at will. Now finally, how can you get this UnDraw plugin? You can simply click right here and you can click on the search and type in UnDraw, and you can press enter, and here it is right here. Because I have it installed, it will show you install button. Simply click on it and you will have this plugin, and you can then search for whichever illustration you want. Now, because they don't have as many illustrations as you might think, and they will not cover all of the businesses and niches out there, you sometimes have to work with illustrations which are close to your niche, but they look similar to what you are looking for. In the next video, I'm going to show you how you can work with mockups directly inside of Adobe XD, so I'll see you there.